Hello. So I'm going to talk about final project submission that you need to submit by next Wednesday, December 9th, midnight. And again, because we are 35 students, so it is almost impossible we can have an individual presentation. But after I grade, and then I will, post the best, projects for your reference. Okay, so yeah, it's very unfortunate that everyone will see everyone's, project, but at least I will try to post some good project that you can maybe use for future reference. And when you submit, the file should be PDF file that has the multiple pages. So you can use either InDesign or the PowerPoint or Adobe to make a PDF file. Though I don't really prefer you create a PDF from the Adobe Illustrator because sometimes that image transfer from the Illustrator to the PDF doesn't really always promising. So, it's up to you, but try, and then please make sure your images looks fine after you convert to the PDF. Okay? In terms of the grading of your final project, this is the grading criteria. So, some of you ask me about there is just some kind of redundancy or the confusing part because everyone has a little bit different way of presenting things. For example, some of you may just have a prototype with some material presented together, or some of you have the prototype presented and then also a lot of maybe fabrics to present. If that is the case, you may separate material board and then prototype board and then, just present them separately. But for some of you, just it's the same thing, especially I think if you are doing a lot of the fabric manipulations, they can be combined, like material prototype board can be combined. But if we are doing some active wear or the sports wear, and then your prototype is more likely construction related or drape related, then you might have them separate. So it's up to you. So it doesn't need to be one way is the bad, one way is the correct way, but rather, whether you can present information about material uses, for example, like fabric or the notion, and then prototype that you explored. If you have information of those, you will be fine. So you don't need to worry about whether you have to have separate or combine them together. And we already talked about the sustainability statement. You already submitted this one, so I just want you to include in the final portfolios. And then mood board. So, there's just some color information here too, but the color in the materials are different things. So the color swatches in mood board is just a general color theme for your entire collection. But the colors in material is just your favorite colors. And then, concept sketches. So this is actually same thing. So some of you use prototype as a concept sketches, okay? So they can be combined too. So your prototype and then concept sketches can be combined, so to show your design process, okay? So again, if we are just doing the drapes, if that is the case, you may take a picture of your drapes and then add some, hand draw sketches or using Photoshop to explore, then they can be your concept sketches. So again, you don't need to have a separate material board, prototype board, concept sketches. If it is kind of not needed, you can combine them. Or for some of you, if you wanted to kind of separate them, you can do that. So it's all about the information that you are presenting, okay? And then the professional layouts. And then illustrations and then flats. Same thing. So for some of you wanted to kind of present illustration and flat drawing together, for each style, or some of you wanted to kind of do, all illustration together and then all flats together. So that could be, up to you. And then you need to pick just one item of the flat sketches and then add call out. So to create your, tech pack, a spec sheet. And then overall quality and layouts will be the 20 points. And then following instruction in terms of the keeping the deadline and file name and format will be your 15 point. So to include everything, it's going to be 250 points. So this is example from last year. So she made a cover page, which is not required, but if you want to, you can start with the mood board, or you can create a start, cover page. And then sustainability statement. And then next one has the mood board with the color information here. Again, colors in here in mood board is just the colors that you will use for entire collection, not necessarily talking about your fabric choices. So, this is actually example of how you can, maybe whether you will need to develop the material board and the prototype separately. Okay, so because she couldn't get a fabric images, she actually include the fabric information here. So she named the color and then, description, add the description about fabric. And then she has another board just to talk about the prototype. So this is example of you can separate prototype and then presenting differently prototypes and then the materials. And then this is another like example of you can put all illustration in one page and then have another page for the flat drawings. And then pick one style for the your spec sheet. And then the example that I'm showing right now is actually she's combining things, together. So her sustainability statement, and then this is actually her kind of mood board, so the theme board. So she kind of indicate what was her inspiration in terms of the function and in terms of the information, in terms of the showing the lifestyle. So this is her mood board. But the mood board didn't include the color information, so she separated the kind of mood board with some fabric information, okay? Then she had a prototyping board, okay? So she didn't have a really concept sketches, but actually shows her design progress in terms of the how to develop those details and then make those constructions, okay? And then same thing here. This is kind of the concept sketches to show the detail and then the idea generation, presentation. And then spec sheet, so she picked one style. And for the spec sheet, you will need to make sure you have a front and back drawings, okay? When you submit your knitwear design project, many of you actually include just front drawings for the spec sheet, but you should include both front and back sketches for your spec sheet. And then this is actually example of you can combine illustrations and flat drawings. So previous example, she rather present all illustration in one page and the next page has all flat drawings together. But you can present as in each style. So one illustration with flat drawing presented, and then you may include the material wise, like that, okay? So again, it's not really like one way of the arrange things of your idea. Rather, as long as I have information that I have asked in terms of the color, material usages, prototypes, and then spec sheet, float drawing, illustration, you're good for that one, okay? So you don't need to really worry about in terms of the what to how to include, but I'm just asking what to include, but how to include will be up to you. And if you have more questions about what to do, and you can email me. Otherwise, these are the instructions for your final submission. And again, you need to submit your file by next Wednesday, midnight. Then I will grade very quickly, and then we'll announce top projects.